Trading performance is really an inside job. Success in trading comes from making good decisions at the right times. Good decisions at the right times come from a well-trained mind. Since 2005, John Locke has continuously trained his mind by studying extensively with titans in the coaching and neurolinguistic programming fields to gain some of the highest level of training and credentials available in those industries. This extensive training, coupled with his many years of being a professional trader and strategy developer, gives him an edge to help traders effectively train their minds and maximize the effectiveness of their trading strategies. Let's start right now to train your mind for ultimate trading success.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to the Lock in Your Success Trading Performance Podcast with Master Trading Performance Coach John Locke, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. In this episode number 3, I'd like to talk to you about the incredibly important topic of properly interpreting live trading results. And the reason this is so critically important is because in order to become consistently profitable traders, we need to effectively learn and adapt to the marketplace. And in order to learn and adapt effectively, we need to be able to take actions, get feedback, and then properly interpret that feedback in a way where we can take more useful actions the next time. This is how we get better in anything. And I think most of us do this, right? We try a trade or some type of a strategy. We get feedback from our efforts in the form of profits and loss, and then we take that feedback and we use it to make our decisions going forward. In fact, this is our default way of learning things as human beings. We try something, and then if that thing works and we get a positive experience out of it, then we instinctively think that we did something right. And as a result, we're compelled to take that action once again in the future with increased confidence next time. However, if we take an action and things don't work out, or we experience pain, then we figure we did something wrong and we tend to avoid doing that thing again in the future. And we do this because in many circumstances it actually works. When we were learning to walk, for example, we saw someone else walking. We apparently thought that if this person can walk, so can we. So we gave it a try. And of course we failed miserably at first. But if you can walk today, it's because you kept trying, and each time you tried, you got some feedback, and then you modified your approach based on that feedback, getting better and better until you were finally able to walk. And this approach has also served us well in many other situations. In fact, throughout human history, this technique has worked often enough and consistently enough where it has resulted in the survival of our species, which is why we're all here today. And since this is the way we evolved, naturally, it's also our default approach to learning as we go through life. Unfortunately for traders, however, this approach to learning is effective only in situations where the actions you're taking are a direct cause of the result you're judging, and you're making that judgment in a time frame that is appropriate. In other words, if I'm learning to ride a bicycle in a relatively controlled environment, then I can trial and error my way through it, and eventually I'll learn the skills to be successful at riding a bike. This is because for the most part, my feedback is immediate and directly related to my actions. However, if I'm trying to lose weight, I may not eat for a day, and I may step on the scale at the end of the day and find that I actually gained a pound. Or I might eat like a pig for a day and then stand on the scale and weigh less than the previous day. This is because in the case of losing weight, my feedback is not immediate. It takes time. I have to eat less for a certain period of time. In other words, I think that we'll all agree that we will certainly weigh less in 6 months if we consistently eat less than we normally eat. And we're certainly going to weigh less than if we consistently eat more than we normally eat. However, if my only metric for feedback about my actions is the scale reading at the end of a day, I could easily come to the wrong conclusions. My feedback would be very random, resulting in confusion, frustration, and poor choices. Also, lack of confidence in my choices. The problem here is that I'm not looking at the feedback in a way that's useful to achieving my end result. Another example might be a baseball player. If I'm trying to get better at bat, I can be doing all the right things. I could be watching the ball, I could be using the proper swing, I could be doing my batting practice on a regular basis, and right, I can do all the right things flawlessly in a way where if I continue to do them, I would get fantastic results in the long term. I could do all those things and still strike out this time. And this type of thing happens all the time in baseball. So let's say I strike out and then I decide to use that short-term result as feedback for all the practice and the techniques I've been doing. And because I struck out, I decide I've been doing it all wrong. So the next game, instead of doing all the things that I should be doing to get better as a batter, the pitcher throws the ball. And I try closing my eyes and swinging wildly at the ball. And I happen to hit the ball. Matter of fact, I happen to hit the ball out of the park for a home run. And I take that instantaneous feedback and I decide, fuck this practice thing. I'm just going to close my eyes and swing wildly at the ball all the time from now on. If I did that, how do you think that's going to work for me long term? It's probably not very well, right? And this is because the outcome of this particular at-bat doesn't necessarily have any correlation whatsoever with whether or not I did the right thing for my long-term success. Now, I think we can all agree that it's more probable that I'll get on base more often over time if I do the right things. However, with any single at-bat performance, there are many factors in the game which I have no control over. Therefore, there is a substantial element of luck involved in my outcome each time I'm at bat, meaning I can take the actions that are most likely to lead to my long-term success and still experience failure in the short term. And so it is with trading. We can take actions that will certainly lead to our long-term success, and in doing so, we can experience short-term failure. And we can also take actions that will certainly lead to long-term failure and experience tremendous success in the short term. My point is that if you judge whether or not you're doing the right thing in the long term solely on the results of, say, 5 or 10 trades, then you're almost certainly going to end up in what I call the circle of doom, where you allow random events of luck to determine if you're headed in the right direction or not, which leads to taking away the wrong lessons from your trading and having confidence in the wrong things, which naturally leads to poor decision making, excessive risk taking, confusion and frustration, and the loss of trading capital over time. And unfortunately, this is what most traders do. They end up evaluating the quality of their decisions and their strategies based off of short-term results, without realizing that those results are highly correlated with luck and are therefore random in nature. And that's why they spend years running in circles, struggling with consistency and struggling with sporadic performance. Realize that as a trading performance coach, I see many, many examples of this. In fact, in this month's trading performance session for our members, I'll be going over some case studies where this focus on short-term results has caused traders to take away the wrong lessons and make poor decisions, resulting in sporadic performance, strategy hopping, blown out accounts, and a roller coaster of emotions, and experiencing years and sometimes even decades of poor performance as a trader. And we'll also discuss how to focus on the right things, the things that will help you make wonderful risk-reward decisions. Naturally, this is a long conversation and we can't cover everything in a small podcast, but for now, let me leave you with a few things to consider in regard to analyzing your trading. Realize that the result of a trade, whether that result be good or bad, does not necessarily have any correlation whatsoever to the quality of decisions that were made during that trade. Therefore, whenever you do a trade, I encourage you to always perform a thorough trade debrief on every trade. This is where you analyze a trade in a way where you consider all possible outcomes. If you need help with the trade debrief process for income trades, the complete process is covered in a program we have called APM Squared, and I consider getting that. It's a fantastic program. It's helped a lot of traders. But in the trade debrief process, we analyze what if. What if you didn't adjust here? What if you didn't exit there? What if you did this instead of that? What if the market gapped down 30 points instead of gapping up 30 points? What if you weren't so lucky? What if you weren't so unlucky? We play out all likely scenarios and consider the alternative outcomes. And then we use that information to judge the quality of your plan and the quality of the decisions you made, rather than the random set of circumstances that led to the random result that happened to occur during this particular trade. This is how we improve our learning as well as skyrocket our performance as a trader. I thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance Podcast, where you can take your trading to the next level. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to check out my Trading Performance membership, where we take all this material to the next level. We study it and we apply it to bring our trading performance to peak levels. Simply go to tradingperformancepodcast.com, that's one word, tradingperformancepodcast.com, to receive information on how you too can become involved and improve your trading. I look forward to seeing you there.